Hello, and you're very welcome to Treaty Talk episode 288. Tom Clancy, joined as ever by Matt O'Callaghan of the Weekly Observer and Vale Stars. There's a bit of a sombre mood this week as we look back on Limerick's exit from the All-Ireland Senior Hurling Championship. First time we've had to say that for 5 years. We'll be getting into the nuts and bolts of that. We'll also have a review of the senior football. We'll be looking forward to Limerick ladies footballers who are in All-Ireland semi-final action. And we have plenty of other bits and pieces to cover off in this week of Gaelic games. So do stay tuned and enjoy the show.
The impression the game you get out with what you put into. It's like a walk of life. If you're good enough, go out and get it, no more about it.
Not so much control in the centre of the field from Kilkenny as Richie Bennett sends it high and over the bar.
Your mother sends you down to the shop for a pound's worth of goods and she gives you 50 pence. You can't get the pound's worth of goods, can you?
Just about kept in. Oh, well, God, Shawnee Buckley. To do that to Tomas O'Shea, he deserves to score from here. One of the highlights of the Sunday game.
Limerick went out there from the word go today. No more about it. They made all the running, that was it. Put the ball over the bar and the back of it, and that's it. No ifs, no buts.
Is there much time left? We've had a couple of injuries. Here comes Kieran Carey. Carey leading the charge of the right brigade. 45 metres out. He's a chance to score. He's put it high. He's put it over.
There's no sympathy in this game for anybody.
Yes, indeed.
We're saying that, Tom, no sympathy in this game for anybody, as we know this week.
Yeah, no sympathy indeed. I think in one sense...
Before we move on, that point by Kieran Carey is probably the greatest score of all time, because when you think of the importance of it, the way he took possession of it, the solo run, the finish, absolutely incredible. And I think in that year, it didn't get among the top scores.
Oh, really? Right. Well, it knocked out the All-Ireland champions, didn't it?
It knocked out the All-Ireland champions.
Yeah. And
but the stakes were so high, and the sheer skill of Kieran Carey, absolutely incredible. Just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, even though I was too young to know about it, I've seen it so many times, obviously due to this forum, but I've heard and seen it so many times.
I saw it in real time.
I think, yeah. Lucky man.
I saw all three scores in real time.
Very good. Yeah, so that dethroned an All-Ireland champion way back when, and we're now here to talk about the end of an All-Ireland champion's reign. Limerick's bid for 5 in a row falls short by the narrowest really of margins. Limerick obviously would have had to go to the final, not excluding the potential for a Clare meeting beyond it. But Matt, after, four titles in a row and all the Munster round-robin games that they needed to win to get there, it feels a little bit like, the turning of a page. I wouldn't say the end of an era, but it's, it's on to the next chapter after a fantastic, I suppose, 5 seasons for Limerick.
Yeah, fantastic 6 seasons, 5 years, 5 All-Irelands in 6 years. And, were it not for the hand of fate, God only knows what would have happened in 2019 had the umpires woken up and seen what had actually happened, and we had got a 65, because I'm absolutely convinced that we would have cantered to victory and in extra time that day, because we were really on top. I don't think it's the end of an era, far from it, Tom. I actually think it's a pause in Limerick's dominance. Nothing more. You referred to the somber mood. Yes, there is a somber mood out there. There's no little level of disappointment out there, and rightly so. We have become accustomed to be the top dog in hurling for the last, almost 6 years. But Tom, we have a break from it now, and rather wallow in the defeat to Cork, or reflect or dig too much in. We should celebrate what has gone before it and be positive. These players have plenty left, and I have no doubt whatsoever that come 12 months' time, or less than 12 months now, come next January and February, when the hurling season will resume and we will be leading into the championship, that Limerick's hunger will be back again. There is no question at all about this. And what really made me extremely proud in defeat, was the manner and the magnanimous way, first of all, in which our players accepted their fate. And above all, the manner in which John Kiley accepted it.
Yeah. No
Like,
excuses, no BS, as it were, no
he's-
hiding behind anything. He congratulated Cork within, I think, 30 seconds of his interview that I was there for. He just gets straight to the point.
Absolutely, his remarks were extraordinary in that moment of defeat. Like, he did himself proud, he did his players proud, and he did his county proud. And if anything, his attitude and his reaction to it tempered the disappointment.
Yeah, it just, we come to the game now in a second. Just, I was looking at it there earlier today, Matt, and Limerick, it was just, I'm going to say from 2020, because, I know they won the 2019 Munster Championship as well, but if you just say from 2020, this All-Ireland run of 4 titles in as many seasons, and obviously they had been hoping to make it 5. 29 games played in the championship between Munster and All-Ireland, 24 wins, 2 draws and 3 losses. The 3 losses, 2 this year to Cork, both by 2 points, and the other one to Clare by a solitary point. The 2 draws against Waterford and against Clare in Ennis in 2022, and
when there was nothing at stake.
against Tipperary when there was plenty at stake. In fairness, against Tipperary in Thurles in 2023. 24 wins, Matt. I mean, like, I'd say, now I know formats of championships are different. I'd say you'll be going back to the 90s to tot up the previous 24 wins for Limerick, or the best part of, and you'll be going back a long while to remember 24 years. And even the 5 games that Limerick didn't win there are all memorable for being great spectacles, great atmosphere, great colour, great noise, great moments from Limerick players. Like, so much has happened in those 29 games, and obviously everything else beside it with National League and everything else on top of it. Like, it would probably only take time, like, come back in 10, 15 years and look at this and say, hang on a second, like, look what was achieved. Remember this match, remember that moment, remember that goal, remember that point. Those will be the conversations as time goes on. I mean, like, it's very hard to be removed from it now, but, like, what a run, what a team, and what, like, just like, even the first game in that run is against Clare during COVID. Like, I didn't get to go to the games. I think you were covering them, Matt. You were at some of them or all of them at the time, and I don't know, some of our colleagues in the Limerick media were there. But other than that, everyone else was at home, and it was actually a strange time to be watching those games. But I can tell you, they shortened the winter for me, and I can tell you they shortened the winter for a lot of people around Limerick. They really gave everyone positivity. Like, there's so much has gone on in that. What is it? It's not even 4 years really, from 2020, October 25th, 2020 until early July 2024. It's been magnificent altogether, top to bottom.
Absolutely, and they've lifted the sporting morale of this county to a level which I believe it may never come down from. It's absolutely, simply phenomenal. Like, we were clinging to bits and pieces, a Munster title at minor or under 21 here and there. We had a great run with the under 21s in 2021 and 22, 2000, 2001 and 2002, my apologies. And, there was a level of expectation after that was sky high. And why not? After winning 3 under 21 All-Ireland titles. And, it was just a question of automatically turning it into senior success. It didn't happen. Now, we won an All-Ireland under 21 in 2015 and another one in 2017. And, there was fears again. But come at the hour, come at the man in the right place, John Kiley, was able to transition and translate under 21 success into senior success. And I remember distinctly at the 2015 presentation of All-Ireland medals in Adair, he spoke maybe for about 40 minutes. And one of the thing he emphasized most was to dampen the expectation of immediate success at senior level. And if anyone has the speech to go back on it, he had mentioned at least 2 or 3 times that to successfully make the transition, it would take 3 years. And he was bang on.
Bang on the money, yeah, to the day nearly, yeah. Just to come to I suppose along the way, like the All-Irelands Limerick have won and how they've done it, and people will start comparing yours. Eventually I'll probably get around to maybe comparing these teams with Kilkenny, and there's been so many great teams from other counties too. That's probably not for today. But the thing I like about this Limerick team, they have done it in all seasons, in all weathers, against all opposition. You name
And
it.
in all formats.
And in all formats, yeah. We said this even a few weeks ago. But that's what I love about when you look back at these 29 games, as I'm calling them now. Like, there was no, oh, sure, they had a handy run here or there, or they did this. Like, they did it the hard way every single time. I mean, they made it hard for themselves sometimes, of course, but invariably, the best of everyone in Munster took a shot at them. And they talk about the kitchen sink, Matt. I think there's the kitchen sink, the bathroom sink, next door neighbor sink. Everything was coming at them. From everywhere. And if we can relate it then to this game, John Kiley was talking about afterwards. He was asked by one of the national reporters, "Were you surprised that the ball was not played down Kyle Hayes' channel more?" And he said no. And I think he went on to make a further point, and it basically, when you're champions, you're scrutinised by your opposition more than ever. And obviously, since day one of 2024, or even somewhere late in 2023, Cork had been plotting how to take down Limerick. And in fairness to them, they've achieved it with 2 victories, and we won't begrudge them that. But that'll tell you, when you get to that level, everybody wants to stop you. Even earlier in the year in the league, teams want to get the better of you, and it just all comes at you.
Absolutely. And another trick they had was the immediate puck out, how quickly they pucked it out. Did they wait even for the referee?
No, they pushed that every which way that they could, In fairness, like, I don't blame them one bit. They had to try and get every inch they could.
No,
beat Limerick, like.
Sort of the means justify the end. They were going where nobody else was going to go where nobody else went since the All-Ireland semi-final of 2019, and that was to apply a knockout blow to Limerick.
Yeah. And there had been numerous opportunities for others to do it since, whether it was in Munster round-robin games, or All-Ireland semis or final. And no one could.
Well, Cork had the opportunity last year in the Gaelic grounds. Had they won the match, we were gone.
Yeah, Waterford had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, All-Ireland semis against Galway. There's been numerous teams have had the chance, and Cork took it. Matt, on the game itself, Limerick lose by 2. They were 7 down, and I think you're the one wearing a hat, and I must tip my own hat to them to say, they were 7 down, and like the sign of champions, they fought their way back. It was not going well, but they fought their way back to 2, and there was no score from 67.5 minutes until 74.5 minutes. No score in the last 7 minutes for either team. And, with the benefit of hindsight, you say, wow, if Limerick had maybe registered even 1 point in the first, between 67 and 71, if you were, could have manufactured a situation to get the equaliser. But like, they fought back.
There was good goal chances at each end missed during those period. We had Patrick Horgan, the ball that came back off the post, and
by Quaid,
and a fantastic save by Nicky Quaid. There isn't another goalkeeper I don't think would have saved it. And I'm not on my rant now. Before you start, and then we had an opportunity right at the end in the Cork goal mouth where Patrick Collins got it clear and out to a defender, and they cleared their lines. Had it gone in, it would have been the most dramatic of wins. And I suppose if we were here, if that had transpired, we would be sympathising probably with Cork. Because look, it was one of those games that the dog is agreeing with me now at this stage, even that neither side deserved to lose, but that it was a day in which there had to be a loser. And if you reflect on it, you can have your head, you can hold your head high in defeat, Tom, on a day in which you're beaten by the better team. And I thought what the energy levels, the skill that Cork brought to it, and the moves that Pat Ryan made, the switch of Timmy Mahoney and Kieran Joyce, and the whole tactic of ensuring that as little ball as possible went in the direction of Kyle Hayes, the quick puck out, they got the big calls right.
Yeah, they really did.
We cannot argue with it. Now we cannot for 1 minute attribute culpability to a single player that represented Limerick in Croke Park last Sunday.
Yeah.
Every last one of them gave it their all.
They did, yeah, and there was not good impact from the bench as well. You know, Adam English, Shane O'Brien got a couple of points. Aidan O'Connor busy, unfortunately, had a very narrow wide. Darragh O'Donovan got into the mix of it as well as best he could. You know, so Limerick did what they normally do. It's just on this occasion it came up short. I suppose the losing of the game, if you could put it that way, for Limerick was that 15 minutes after half time that Limerick have predominantly owned. You know, Cork, like people were asking me. People are asking me, Matt.
It was a roles reversal on Limerick.
Yeah, that was Limerick's time
Limerick
normally.
would come out in the third quarter and bang, bang, bang. This time it was Cork, and Cork got that right.
They did. Whatever way they were fired out at halftime, they came for it. And people are asking me, did I think Limerick or Cork could win again? And obviously, I was slightly biased to say the least, but I felt that I haven't watched back the Páirc Uí Chaoimh game, and I know no two games of hurling are even remotely similar, but I just felt Cork, you know, were so accurate. Everything seemed to go right for them, and I just didn't see them being as accurate. And now, of course, they had a lot of misses as well on Sunday. They had 10 wides, Limerick at 14, for example, among other incidents that didn't go their way. But they hit 10 shots from 10 immediately after halftime. I think it was a 10 points to 2 or 10 points to 4. They outscored Limerick. And Limerick went from being 2 up to being 7 down in more or less that period of time. Like, you know,
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But like, if you were looking for a crumb of comfort or a crumb of an excuse, you know, like we were down 3 serious players in Barry Nash, Darragh O'Donovan, and Peter Casey.
Three all-stars.
The thing is that we have coped with being down serious players in previous years, notably Sean Finn and Declan Hannon last year, was a Keane Lynch the previous year. You know, we've had a record of being down, but I suppose on this occasion maybe it was a little bridge too far. I don't know, but I'm not offering that as an excuse. And John Kiley, who didn't offer it as an excuse, because all counties are subject to injuries. Unfortunately, it's the nature of the game. But like anyone that, you know, is minded to have, you know, the best for hurling, you always want to see the best players, no matter what county they're from, out on the field hurling.
Yeah, and we saw it with our guest last week. He was disappointed to hear Barry Nash would be out, and I think it was sincere, of course, as well. He'd love to have seen Limerick's best, you know, against Cork's best, and
absolutely, and you know, the genuine Cork fans, and that there are many of them, would always like to see that team win, first of all, but like they would like to see the best that the opposition can put in front of them.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah.
And if likewise, were we to beat Cork and they were down Kieran Joyce and they were down Seamus Harnaday, you know, we would much prefer to beat them with them.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, we'd love to have the best of them now. The game itself as well, Matt. Limerick obviously didn't score a goal. They scored 29 points, and I think I said to a colleague of ours at halftime when I was up, I said 16 points now. You know, if Limerick can get to 30, they'll win the game. Now, obviously, if they only got to 30, subsequently turned out that they wouldn't. They needed at least 31 the way it went, you know. But goal chances for Limerick came and went. You know, in fairness to Patrick Collins, he rushed Darren Gillan. He came out 100 miles an hour. Very brave, great save. Limerick didn't get anything from that, not so much as a 65 or a point.
When he got down to save Seamus Flanagan on the follow-up, he had a great save at the other end, save from the Road Hegarty, and as a result of his pressure, Aaron Gillan was unable to get the connection. You know, Patrick Collins, in my view, was a contender for man of the match.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. His distribution, keeping making those saves, plus the distribution,
plus the puck out, which was flawless.
Yeah, it really was. There were, you know, there was a couple but the 2 goal chances there, the Aaron Gillan one that was saved, and then he picked up the rebound and overcarried before passing to Seamus Flanagan. It was a free out given, and the Groat Hegarty one, Limerick didn't get anything out of them. Even if they got a 65, they might have scored. But the second one, he saves from Hegarty. Galan goes in, he kind of slips, and they do their best to put him off.
Yeah.
Scramble it clear. The ball goes to Dalton, and Cork go from 4 points up to 5 points up.
And it was a monstrous point from Dalton.
Yeah, it was like he did all the time in the world, but like he's a
counteracted
monster.
at the other end. Brian Hayes, after getting the goal, he had an opportunity shortly afterwards, and he put over the bar.
Yeah,
and he had another opportunity when Alan Connolly was deemed to have thrown the ball. Now, close-up television showed afterwards that it was an incorrect call.
Yeah, there was enough of a striking action.
There was separation. But Seamus, referee Thomas Walsh didn't have that benefit. And speaking of Thomas Walsh, I thought his overall handling of the game, that Tom, was first class.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, yeah. And some people wouldn't admit that when you lose,
Warriors, I've seen reference to Cork having 16 men, and I don't want to express it in public, but I call it.
Not at all.
It starts with a B and ends with a T.
Yeah, no, like I've refed a very minor amount of games myself of hurling. It is a very difficult sport to administer. I'm sure at that level it's even more monstrous because there's 1,001 things happening at once. Like there's 30 players pulling and dragging and running, and ball, is it off the ground? Is it picked? Is it overcarried? Is it hand pass? Is it not? Is it thrown? Is it your man pulling his jersey? And on and on and on and it goes. Plus, of course, the fact there's 82,000 people, looking down on you. Plus everything. And it's like he had a phenomenal game. He had a great game.
You can look at it 50 times, Tom, and you will say it was a throw ball.
Yeah.
But when you slow down and the camera is focused in on it,
yeah,
you can see that it wasn't.
Yeah, my gut feeling from being high up in the Hogan stand was, no, that was a throw, because his hand came up and it was kind of like that. I said that looks a good call to me, and then I watched one replay on my laptop. I had RT open, watched one replay, and I said, no, that looks all right. By the time I went into halftime, it's into the media area. They had the screen on, and it was being broken down, slowed down, and I said, well, that happened 15 minutes ago. You've taken 15 minutes to decide that it was a thrown ball.
Exactly, yeah, but
he took 1.5 seconds.
RT the other night with the camera right in on top of it.
Even still, it probably isn't that clear cut.
Isn't, but it is clear that there was separation, I thought.
Yeah, but even
you can look at it 50 or 100 times.
Yeah.
Without the benefit of that technology, and you will give it a throw ball all day. So what chance had Tom Walsh 20 yards away?
Yeah. That's it. No, and there's other calls in the game that, did or didn't go either side's way. And I thought he blew steps correctly against Aaron Gillan at that incident I mentioned, and a couple of other times was different bits and pieces. He got an awful lot right.
We don't want to dwell on the referee at all, only to say that congratulate him on a fine performance.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, certainly, yeah.
And to acknowledge that his manner of handling the game contributed in some way, in a good way, to it being the classic that it was.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I suppose in the broad sense, Matt, it's where next now for this Limerick team, and they're definitely not gone away, and we won't be writing them off based on one defeat by 2 points. But I guess I didn't say a new era or anything like that, but a new chapter, I guess, in 2024, and maybe we'll see a freshening up of the team in terms of maybe Adam English now has pushed himself further up the chain, or there might be other players that further down that might emerge from it, and it might be no harm if that does happen. I'm not by no means trying to rid anyone out of the team, but if it would be great to see a couple of fresh bodies get into that 15 next year, and obviously the injured players to come back with a new lease of life as well. And if that happens, Limerick should be certainly back at the business end of both championships again next year.
Absolutely. I would be slightly worried about departures from the panel.
Right.
It's been a long road. Most of them have been there since 2017. If you add the under-21s, they've been there since 2015.
Yeah, that's 10 seasons, isn't it?
I would wonder, will there be departures? It would worry me. And what would worry me more still is who the departures might be.
Yeah.
And And I have a morbid fear altogether, Tom, that there might be departures among the management.
Yeah, that man there, John Kiley, is obviously at the end of a 1-year extension, and we don't really know, Matt. We'd be only speculating, but
He's changing his career path at the moment.
yeah, certainly that's mentioned. It was reported there yesterday evening. Yeah, so like
that would be a morbid fear for me, Tom.
Yeah, it would be strange, wouldn't it, at this point to see Limerick without him, from 2017. What's that? That's what is it, the 8th season?
It's
or 7th
unimaginable. I don't try to even get my head around it.
Yeah. Players wise, look, there'll be plenty of people who will have their own theories on it, but I suppose you've just.
I wouldn't speculate. I wouldn't speculate and put names and players that might depart.
But I would say
they're a very, very close group.
Yeah, but what I would say,
but like you'd have to say that both Shane O'Brien and Adam English have made compelling reasons for inclusion going forward.
That was a very much a bright spark from Sunday. Very much. I was delighted. Even after the game, I was thinking of how like to look at some positives, and that was definitely one of them, or two of them if you're picking them out individually.
And worrying me slightly going forward, Tom, is that we've some excellent attacking prowess coming through. Maybe not the same level of defensive prowess.
Yeah. The six that started remained the other day. Despite I suppose conceding 29 scores, and it felt like it needed a freshen up. At the 3/4 mark or even earlier. That would be it. I think. Look, and they'll make their own decisions, but players wise, you must look at Graham Mulcahy and Nicky Quaid in the context of the amount of years they've given to Limerick and say, we would love to concede them continuation, but if reality is, I think since 2010 they made their debuts and have been ever present since. So, I think we'd love it if they were to finish up whenever that is, that it would be, better than a defeat in Croke Park. We'd love if it was to finish on a high, but those two in particular are obviously on the older end of things. But
but we're being ageist when we think of this.
Oh, of course, and no, Nicky Quaid is still the best goalkeeper in the country, and it's just more that level of commitment.
The world about it even.
Yeah, that level of commitment for 15 long years, and the highs and lows that he has seen.
Now Mull has been in and out of the team, he's now living in Cork.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose it's probably getting harder, a family on the way, and a family and all that sort of thing. We've got to remember, these lads, they have lives to live.
They do, yeah.
They have lives to live like you and me.
More
like you than me now, because I'm an old fogey. But
can I paraphrase? Can I paraphrase John Kiley after the match? He said that this group of players are a special group, and he said they lived their lives around hurling. They've manufactured their lives around hurling. I think was I can't remember the exact word he used, but basically saying that they've chosen jobs, they've chosen where they live. Probably renting accommodation together, and you hear different stories about such and such living with such and such. You know what I mean? They pick a lot of things. They miss out on family weddings. They miss out on X, Y, and Z, and to holiday at different times of the year, maybe relative to their peers. They do an awful lot just to be ready for the National League, the Championship, and beyond. Just for that period to represent the green and white. So it would be, in fairness, you could understand if someone said, you know what, now I'm going to go a different direction in life. But you'd also understand if everyone in the group wanted to come back again next year, because they'll say, well, you know what, I love it so much and I get so much out of it. That's the other side of things. Why would anyone be in a rush to walk away if all things were okay, behind the scenes, that you'd love if everyone was willing to commit again for next year,
Yeah, but everybody in Limerick, plus John Kiley, the squad, and all Limerick supporters should be eternally grateful to the support of JP McManus and the McManus family over the years.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. And I've made this point before about that support. Is that it was there when Limerick weren't winning a round of the Munster Championship.
Yeah. Which isn't that long ago, but he's been there a long while. Yeah,
it's not fine day support.
No,
it is genuine support.
Yeah, and I think, as I always say about JP, and people might think he's just a man with a lot of money who's just interested in. He was chairman, I think, of his own club, South Liberties, way
Yes,
back.
South Liberties. I remember him at county board meetings.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So he's ingrained in the association and would be very friendly with the gentleman his own vintage who lined out for Limerick. You're back in the 70s and beyond. So he's far from a fine day supporter.
I saw he got a dig. He got a dig from I don't know. He got a dig in social media, and Limerick by extension got a dig in social media. To which there was an immediate reply: "Who in Cork or Clare is going to give £1 million or £1 million to each county?"
Yeah, or £1 million to Limerick. €1 million to Limerick, yeah.
Which was €1 million, which was well said,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, if there's £1 million coming internal or into Limerick from elsewhere, I will take it. But I'll be, I could be holding my breath a while for that one to come in. Well,
you'll need shock treatment if it comes.
Yeah, so look, congratulations to Cork and indeed to Clare on their wins, and we look forward to watching the All-Ireland final for neutrals for the first time since 2019, and we'll see how that one plays out. So congratulations to Limerick on a 6 Munster title and all that has gone with it, and we were certain that they'll be back at the business end in the next season or two, no doubt about it. That they'll be thereabouts. Matt, we must turn to matters heading into this weekend and other codes across the county, and namely we will start with ladies football. A very important trip up the country to Pearse Park in Longford for the ladies and management. They're facing old rivals from Anna in the TG4 Ladies Junior semi-final. A big one, and another opportunity, Matt, to get a day out in Croke Park for this group.
Yeah, and it would be nothing more than they deserve, says I, with my green-tinted glasses. No, but I genuinely mean it. This is the third year in a row, Tom, that they've met Fermanagh in the All-Ireland semi-final.
Right, and we're one each?
It's one each now, so it's an unusual. There have been unusual confrontations like that. In 2022, in a goal fest in Kiltoom, Fermanagh won by 7-9 to 3-12.
Right.
That was a 9-point defeat. 12 months later, in Pearse Park in Longford, where we go next Sunday, and where we've been already this year to play Longford, we beat them by a point. 10 points to 1-6 to get to the All-Ireland final.
Right.
Now, Limerick have a few problems in that Lauren Ryan is out. She's been injured. She's missed the last couple of games, and she's going to be out long term. But there are serious doubts surrounding Deborah Murphy, who has been outstanding all year. She picked up a knock 10 minutes into the second half against Kilkenny. And I would say that Mike Quilligan and Sean Kiley are giving her to the very last minute to be fit. She's such an important cog in the team. Now, on a positive side, Iris Kennelly and Andre O'Sullivan, who were travelling for a couple of weeks, a month or so, are back. And they've been back for 2 full weeks of training. They've been back since the Tuesday night after the Kilkenny game, so that they're reintegrated into the squad. But Fermanagh have this lady, Emer Smith.
Yes, the aforementioned.
Who's a scoring machine, and she's out of sight, believe it or not, in this Zukar Golden Boot Award. She's 20. She's top of the standings in that. 27 points clear of those. A player from Roscommon immediately after her, and in her last outing against London, she scored 4 goals and 6 points.
Not a bad day out, in fairness.
Not a bad day, no. But the same as Smith, like Limerick and Fermanagh played in the 6th round of the league in Mick Neville Park. I was at it. Fermanagh won it by 9 points to 4. Limerick didn't score at all in the second half. They were going through that period when they were trying to rearrange the attack, and they successfully rearranged, made a few important changes for the subsequent game against Carlow, which they won, which got them into the semi-final. And then they beat Leitrim to get to the final. They beat present Leitrim.
Put me on the spot now.
I put myself on the spot. I'll come back to it. Which they weren't expected to do. But Miss Smith got 6 points.
Right.
5 from frees. I thought the Limerick defence coped extremely well with her. Now, Limerick have a very, very strong defence, Tom. A very, very strong defence. When they had finished the 7 games in the league, they had the least score against of all the 8 teams. And they had conceded 7 points less than Fermanagh, who had finished at the top of the table.
Yeah, so there's the defence. I think we've been saying it for a long time. The defence is fairly consistent, it's fairly tight relative to other teams
it
anyway.
was Leitrim we beat in the semi-final because they had beaten us in the league game in Leitrim.
Right, you got it. You came around to it.
No, I was right the first time, but
confirmed it with yourself. Yeah,
I'm talking to myself all the week, Tom. But
so just to pick up your point on Emer Smith now, before you can maybe go on about Limerick a bit. Like, I'm just looking here, she's four games played. She scored 6 goals and 31 points in 4 games. And you mentioned, I think, did she get 4 of those the last day, or 4 of those 6 goals?
She got 4-6.
Yeah, 4-6, right. So, she takes mind, and I think she got 2 in 2020, these 2 sides played. She got 2 5 or 6 against Limerick. I think just 4-9 to 4-3. Limerick were beaten in Kinnegad in that day, and also in an All-Ireland semi-final. Limerick know all about her, but knowing all about someone and knowing how to stop someone.
As I say, I was very heartened by how Limerick dealt with her.
Yeah.
On that day in McNeville Park. She only got 1 point from play.
Yeah.
Her
influence was curtailed, but they will have to do that this weekend if they were to.
This might be the key.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying will be the key. Now, she wasn't there last year. She took a year out. So she's back, and back with a bang.
Yeah, definitely. And seems to be on the upward trend in terms of registering scores, So.
I can't help but think, that, right, Iris Kennelly and Andrea Sullivan being back in the squad is a boost. I think Limerick will be really hopping off the ground if Deborah Murphy is fit.
Yeah. No,
it will be such a boost because, there was an awful lot of pessimism going around about her potential fitness or otherwise since the win over Kilkenny.
Right.
And I think if Debbie is fit, we're in with a real chance, Tom.
Yeah, that's
Miss
for
Smith
sure.
or Miss Smith,
Yeah, the experience of being in Limerick have played a lot of semi-finals in the various competitions, league and championship. I was going to say it should count for something, but in fairness, Fermanagh have been at the business end of the championship more often than not as well over the past few seasons. So they're no rookies to this either.
Oh no. You have 2 teams who know both sides of the coin and on semi-final day.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I suppose we just need to hope now that Limerick can, put in the performance that they did against Longford in I think the same venue first day out. If they can replicate something like that.
So it'll be Limerick's third. It'll be Limerick's third appearance in Pearse. Sorry, it's their second appearance this year and their third appearance in a calendar year there, because they played Longford in the Fermanagh in the semi-final there all last year.
Yeah, more or less a year to the day or thereabouts.
If being accustomed with a ground is an advantage, it's advantage Limerick.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're wishing Sean and the ladies all the best at the weekend. Who am I forgetting? Sean.
Mike Quilligan.
Sorry. Wishing them the best at the weekend, and hopefully a full clean bill of health to choose from heading up to Longford. That would certainly go a long way to securing the precious victory for them. Matt, under 16 ladies footballer, they're playing a familiar foe, certainly in your head anyway, familiar foe into an All-Ireland final against Antrim. They had a very convincing and comfortable victory over Leitrim recently in the semi-final. So a big day out for the youngsters into an All-Ireland final against Antrim.
Yeah, no, I made a point last week or a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I'm sick to the teeth of being beaten by
Saffrons, yeah.
Antrim,
Yeah.
and that they were defeating the Antrim in the senior camogie is only given as an appetite for more times to defeat him, but or to defeat anybody when it comes to a final. The under-16s are in the final in Kinnegad. The Munster Championship is run on the basis of 6 counties, A, B, and C. Top 2 teams qualify for the A final, top 3 and 4 for the B final, 5 and 6 for the C final. That's how we qualified. We'd beaten Clare in the group stages. We beat Clare in the Munster final. And in the semi-final in Patrick Pearce's in Roscommon, we beat Leitrim 4-24 to a point.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure that Charlie McCarthy and the management team would have much preferred to get a stiffer test in the semi-final.
No doubt about it, yeah.
No, so Antrim came through the Ulster Championship on a similar basis. I know they scored 10 goals against Fermanagh in the first round. I sort of found it hard to track them after that, other than to know that they beat Offaly in the All-Ireland semi-final.
Okay, yeah.
So we must have a chance, Tom, of picking up All-Ireland honours, which would be great for the ladies' football as well. It would be a nice double in the Midlands, in Kinnegad on Saturday and in Longford on Sunday.
It would, yeah. And just you're right, I think, about having maybe a little bit of a sterner test, but you must take great hope in the number of scores they registered against Leitrim. And obviously the opposition was not of an utmost standard, but being able to get players in comfortable with kicking points, that's a lot of points in an hour's football. To be in that mood of we know where the posts are, that has to be a positive you'd spin out of a game like that,
Well, it has to be a positive, Tom. And I was looking back at the results in Munster. They were distinctly unlucky to be in B or in C.
Yeah, tight margins.
Tight games with Kerry, tight games with all the counties.
Yeah. So, well,
and they beat Clare in the group stage of it, and they beat Clare in the C final then, and hence they're through now to the All Ireland final
decider. Yeah, well, wishing them the best Saturday in Kinnegad, as Matt said, and hopefully then not too far away from that in Pearse Park on Sunday, the senior side of it, but the junior side as well, the adult side can follow it up with a victory as well. That'll be a sweet double for ladies football in Limerick over the weekend. So wishing them all the best. We will turn now to...
We could have a very sweet under-16 double this weekend, because the under-16 camogie are playing Kilkenny in the All-Ireland A semi-final in Mallow on Sunday at 2:00. Now, this is a very interesting team. They had a very good win over Tipperary in the first round. They lost to Kilkenny in Newcastle West by 13 points to 9. So it augurs for a very good game on Sunday. They then lost subsequently. They suffered a kind of a heavy defeat to Cork. But they bounced back and they beat, they drew with Galway away from home and didn't beat Dublin away from home.
Yeah,
to qualify in fourth place. Now, Dermot Ryan and co are the manager of this team, and you must remember, Tom, that this team, is the team that won the Munster A Championship.
Yeah,
they retained the Munster A Championship. Limerick won the Munster A Camogie Championship for the first time last year, and they retained it this year. And whilst they didn't root up any trees in the All Ireland series last year, they're certainly going about it the right way this year. Now, Kilkenny won the 5 games in the group. Won their 5 games outright. So they finished top of the table. Kilkenny will start as favourites, but Mallow's a happy hunting ground for us. We beat Cork there last year in the under-16 final.
Yeah, familiar territory, I suppose,
Familiar territory. So I'm hopeful, Tom.
Yeah. Well, wishing Dermot and the ladies all the best, hopefully.
I cannot stress enough, Tom, that this is the top level. It is a camogie.
No, that's it. And we've had probably few too many successes in camogie at that grade, across 16s minor and obviously adult. It just,
Yeah,
we've probably rarely knocked on the door, but it's great to see this crop, have ignored
we're
history,
making strides, Tom, because we were beaten in the All-Ireland A-Shield final this year, All-Ireland semi-final this year, and we were beaten in the final by, wait for it, Antrim last year.
Yeah, that at minor level, yeah. So, yeah.
But it's a camogie, which that is the important thing.
Yeah, that's it. It's sharpening the tools as well for further down the line as they progress to minor and hopefully junior and senior in the years to come. So wishing them the best in that one, and no chance Antrim will pop up and spoil the day for Matt. So it's Kilkenny, the opposition this weekend. Matt, we'll turn now to men's football, and busy weekend, or busy start to last weekend with the Senior Football Championship second round. Some surprising results, some not so surprising results. I think it's fair to say some big results definitely across both groups. We'll start with Group 1, and I think the team
saw 3 games in Group 1.
Right, well, that's a good place to start. So you were a busy man. Mungret St. Paul's, Matt, they got the better of Adair. That was last Thursday night. And look, I think I was joking with you about predictions. I think we all felt they put it up to Adair, but I don't think many of us thought that they would be. I think it was in a 4-point victors in the end, in fairness to them.
4-point victors in the end. You went for Adair by 4, so you were wrong by 8, Tom.
You only went by 2. So, but anyway, but I suppose the point being, they have used this momentum now of, we'll say, both their adult teams last year gaining promotion, winning their first round, and I tell you, the confidence must be high in Mungret at the moment.
Yeah, I was impressed with him, Tom.
Yeah,
I was impressed with him because, and I'll tell you why, and I'll qualify it later. I was impressed with him. First of all, the way they went about their business. They had a very difficult first half in that they left their shooting boots at home. They shot 8 wides, which is a lot in a football match.
Yeah.
In the first half, and had they got a few of those over, they would have been in a much stronger position at half time. And they actually led at half time by 1, 2 to 3 points. But in the second half, they came out, and John Hutton got a couple of points from frees immediately after halftime, which turned it around. Even though the goal was it came from a penalty, Tom, it was an excellent piece of work in the build up to it. Killian Ryan, he was playing centre half back, did very well. He took a knockdown from Darrow Hagan, who was outstanding at midfield, and he absolutely seared at pace through in a straight line through the Adair defence until he was pulled down in the square, and John Hutton buried the penalty. But like had Killian Ryan got his shot away, had it gone in the net, it would have been a goal for the ages. But like the build up was a build up for the ages. Now, Adair were short a number of key players, Tom.
Yeah.
And
I think as they were in round 1 as well. Yeah.
Hagan, when you spoke to us after the Adair, the Mungret St. Paul's manager was very, very quick to acknowledge that they were down to 2 Burks, they were down to 2 Connellys, they were down Davy Lyons, Jack English, Shane O'Connor, Oren Collins, Owen Costello.
A lot of experience, a lot of quality there, yeah.
With full credit to the team that they put out. What it tells me is now Adair have suffered a defeat, but it tells me that they're in a very, very good place. Now, 2 of those were away at a wedding. Now, the Burks must be due back from injury.
Yeah.
And they're expecting that the others will be back when the championship resumes. So anybody that's writing the obituary of Adair football at this remove, forget it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone who's any bit clued in and would have been writing them off. I think it's first group defeat 20, I could be wrong, 2018, 2019, and
it's a long time anyway, Tom.
I don't have the full archive to me. I can tell you it's been very few and far between.
Very, very
the group
few
game.
and far between, yeah.
Yeah. So it'll tell you now. That'll tell you that Mungret got an awful lot right. Even Adair in other years have been missing players too, but have.
And I would say to the 3 teams that they have to face, beware.
Beware is right. Yeah. So look, they still have 1 win on the board and 1 defeat now to go with it. But it's after throwing, I suppose it throws a bit of a spanner in the works, and that we were kind of a bit frustrated, Matt, in terms of the groups playing out in similar veins year on year. But it puts Adare under pressure to win the group, and therefore, they might have to go into the quarterfinal route. So that changes things potentially.
It
Now,
does,
no,
but I don't think Harry Gleeson and his management team will be too worried about that.
no, but I just think
I think they have the resources, they have the firepower. I actually, at this remove from what I saw now, I would give Mungret a right good chance of. Definitely, I'd be confident that Mungret will get into the knockout stages.
Yeah.
But I'd give them more than a good shot at maybe topping it.
Well, I'd say if they've 2 wins from 2 and they've healthy scoring difference from the first day out, they win their next game, they're very close to qualifying. I'd be taking miraculous.
Tom, I don't think any club that has got 3 points in the group stage has failed to qualify.
Or 3 wins, yeah. Like 6.
3 wins, sorry.
Yeah,
3 wins.
And then if they win the next 2, as in make it wins 3 and 4, they'll have the head-to-head in Adare anyway, and they'll have the head-to-head on 3 other teams. So there's very unlikely that if they win their next 2, they'll be squeezed out. I'd say
I think they're playing St. Kieran's next.
Right, yeah. I think that's fixed for around the 15th of July
15th
or August. Sorry,
and they are playing Ballylanders, and sorry, St. Kieran's are playing the Piershik. Adare must be playing.
Adare must be playing Ballylanders.
They're playing Ballylanders.
Uncle St. Paul's against Monaghan, I think, would be the.
That's
would be the combination, yeah. But look, we'll come to that in due course. You mentioned Ballylanders there. We were both there in hospital on Friday. Poor evening for football in terms of the weather, but I tell you, this was a cracking game, very exciting end to end, a couple of fine moments in it, and then a very late point from you might remind me, I keep forgetting his name, the wing forward for Ballylanders, Robbie Downey. And as Danny Froon told me afterwards, he started his first senior game last week in round 1.
Only his second game.
Yeah. Was removed.
He started the previous week, and he came off the bench the second day.
Yeah, but he was taken off the first day, and as Danny said, he didn't drop his head. He was disappointed naturally enough to be taken off. Bounced back, came in for the last quarter of this game. Was in the right place at the right time. Kicks the ball, kicks the winning score after 64 minutes, and that's what the club is all about, really, isn't it? You got to have these young guys coming through. Yeah.
He won a county minor medal with Glenroe last year. He's a good hurler as well, so he's only just out of minor rank. So, like, the confidence it will give him, like, but they said Danny Froon, Tom.
1-6, Matt, wasn't it?
1-6, but what a performance!
Yeah.
What a performance of leadership around the field.
That's it. Yeah.
Bringing the ball out of his own defence, won the penalty, scored it. And what about the line ball? He kicked straight over the black spot.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw one of them in the Limerick Senior Football Championship.
I can't either. No.
And by the way, did I mention the weather, Matt? I mean, like, to be fine to do that on a sunny day, like, but it was wind and rain and all that goes with it, like, great score.
But Tom, he got 2 frees when Ballylanders were 3 points down.
Yeah.
Bally went 3 points down with 5 minutes to go.
Five and normal, yeah, but there was still about 3 or 4 added, so yeah, did about 8 minutes to rescue that,
You talk about experience. Danny Froon got 2 frees. None of them were easy, Tom.
No.
He slotted the 2 of them. And the third free to level it from Jimmy Barry Murphy was from a desperate, awkward angle.
Yeah.
But it suited the left-footed kicker. But fair play to Jimmy Barry. He nailed it. And, but, you just couldn't talk enough about the performance of Danny Froon. I thought it was absolutely outstanding.
It was, yeah.
It was captaincy and leadership at its best.
Yeah, it was, yeah. A goal and 6 and a very, very important victory for them. And
I'm really obviously delighted, Tom.
Yeah. You are. You did predict it. You did say they'd win by 1, in fairness. John Keogh had a draw and I had by 2, so we were all very, very close. But you were bang on the money in this case.
I had it fixed with him.
Oh yeah.
I said to Rob Downey, before.
Just one will do, yeah. Just the one will do, yeah. Come here, but it's great for Ballylanders, but it does put the Piershik in a bit of peril, Matt. Now, two defeats on the bounce, and they're down a lot of bodies from previous years, and they're just finding the going tough at the moment.
They are finding the going tough, but by God, they made a game of it, though. They did,
yeah.
And they didn't once through the game depart from trying to play good football.
Yeah, they ought to kick some great scores. Yeah.
Which I think has been part of the Piercic's undoing. At senior level, they like to play good open football, which is good to watch.
Yeah.
But sometimes isn't always what will win you games. But they have a difficult. They have a difficult 3 games coming up, and the next one is going to be quite difficult because they're going to be playing St. Kieran's, who I saw on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, tell me about that one. So
I've seen St. Kieran's both weeks now against
Ballylander's first day out and
Ballylander's the first day out.
Yeah.
I thought they were good. I was saying it to a knowledgeable person in football, and he said, "Forget it, they're no good." I wish that person was in a there on Saturday.
Right. Yeah.
No, because as I said to some of the St. Kieran's lads after, it was no show for 20 minutes. They were 1-5 or 1-6 to 2 points down. And they were playing with the advantage of whatever breeze there was. But
So
they
what
got
changed?
they got a penalty before half-time. Alan Daly was upended, and John Hayes tucked it away. And they got 4 points straight after coming out after half-time, after being 2 points down to go 2 points ahead. And at one stage, they'd gone 3 points ahead. And Monleen got a second goal through Barry Griffin. He had been named to start, but he came on as a sub. But you'd say to yourself, they have raised the siege. Momentum is now with Monleen. They went 1 point ahead with that. Dara Murray had got a point before it to reduce the margin to 2. But by God, it was then that St. Kieran's really showed their mettle. They were pulled down for. I think it was Owen McHenry pulled down for 2 penalties.
Yeah, that's what I think I heard that as well. Yeah, and John
he
Hayes
was pulled down.
stuck to
He
two
was
of them.
pulled down for the penalty, the second penalty. No, it was Alan Daly for the first one, on McHenry for the second one, and John Hayes, who I thought was outstanding. Tom,
Yeah,
huge influence himself and Dara Tracy and Liam Kennedy around that middle third. They called an awful lot of the shots. And coming up then towards the finish, it was Owen McHenry again who caught a high ball going in and neatly offloaded it to Alan Daly to bury it in the net.
yeah.
So they won by 3-14 to 2-9, Tom. They were worthy of it.
Yeah, and that's a big result in the context of this group. I'm just looking at the group here. Mungers, St. Paul's and St. Kieran sitting on the top with 2 wins from 2. Mungers ahead by a point and scoring difference, plus 21. St. Kieran's plus 20. Adair, 1 win, 1 loss. Ballylanders, 1 win, 1 loss. And Monaghan and Piercic's, the city clubs, 0 for 2. But plenty still to go to turn these things. But I suppose a little bit of surprise maybe that Monaghan are pointless, and maybe a little bit of surprise that St. Kieran's are probably 2 from 2. But they've made hay when they've had the chance.
As I made the point to you last year, at the outset of the football championship, I saw him a couple of times. I was very disappointed with him.
Yeah,
in the championship.
I said, yeah.
But you probably agree with me on that. And I don't know, was my thinking conditioned to a certain degree by the fact that they came into the championship last year after winning the league.
Yeah, didn't find another gear then. Yeah, from there.
But I would say like that. John Hayes got injured on the first day when they beat Rula. Dara Tracy was injured. And when you see the influence that those two had in the last 2 games, you got a sense of the importance there to the team.
Yeah, transformative, really. Yeah,
it is transformative. And but having said that, Tom, they are a hard-working team. I'm very impressed by Owen McHenry. He got 2 goals against Ballylanders. He was directly involved in 2 goals again last Saturday.
Yeah, no, he's a
penalty, and he laid off to Alan Daly. I was impressed by Alan Daly. Scored 1-7.
Yeah, not bad in fairness. Yeah, he's
he has a left peg that's second to none.
Yeah, he's a forward, Matt, isn't he? That stays really close to goal as well. He doesn't. More often than not, when I've seen him, he keeps it simple in terms of the scores will be got in around the goal. So that's where I'm staying.
Well,
And
the nearer I am to the goal, the easier it is to get it. He's a Wicklow
yeah,
native, actually,
yeah, that's right.
who originally came down to Ula and played with Ula in 2022 before moving to St. Kieran's last year. But he's a big asset to St. Kieran's.
Yeah, no, he is. And good free taker too when he gets him going. We
Owen
must.
McHenry is the player that I have. If you're looking for a player that has come out of the woodwork, we all knew what John Hayes could bring, and Dara
Yeah.
Tracy and Dave Kennedy. And they were missing Noel Callanan, but to me, Owen McHenry is a player that to look out for. Now
we've
they
seen.
know, of course, they
We've seen
know
him.
if they beat Napiersic the next day, they're in.
They're in, and with time to spare too to add to that. Yeah. The Group 2, we must move it on, Matt. Group 2, the champions Newcastle West collected a second victory, 14 points to 3 over Kildare Palskenry. Came at a cost though. Ian Corbett, the Limerick captain, by all stories I've been told, a bad looking hamstring injury, and one that would put into question his involvement even further in the championship, even with the break. So obviously we're wishing Ian the best, but now good for them to get 2 wins from 2, but as I say, that's a big blow to their panel.
That's a huge blow, and every good wish to Ian for a speedy recovery. Like that man's contribution to his club and to his county has been second to none over the last decade. You don't get nominated for an all-star, by being lightning around the field. Like, he's serious footballer, and is a huge influence in Newcastle West. And we can just wish him a speedy recovery, and also a speedy recovery as I'm speaking. I should have mentioned it to Conal O'Doin of Monaghan, who got a nasty injury towards the finish of the game, and it looked to be an ankle injury, and it looked to be pretty serious. So we wish anybody that got injured the very best of luck. And look, I suppose I said to you last week or the week before that what I believe about Newcastle West, their attitude in the group stages is just get the job done.
Yeah. They never. I've never seen them put them on a mad score. Anyone in the group, it's just kind of business as usual, isn't it?
But what will be alerting clubs around the county is that the fact that they only conceded 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points against the team that has Peter Nash, last year's top scorer.
That has Peter Nash.
And Carl Downs was able to kick from distance.
Absolutely. So, look. I suppose now Kildare Palskenry were down a number of players, including Tony McCarthy.
Yeah.
And we know what Tony brings to it. He was outstanding the night against Ballysteen, even when the game was going against him. And that's the real test of a guy. But I suppose Newcastle West will be happy. John Chalk will certainly have some head scratching to do, because if they're to get into the knockout places, there's a cold wind coming in from the Galties.
Yeah, very well put, Matt. Yeah, Galtee Gales 3-10, Ballysteen 1-6, and I think this game kind of looked like Ballysteen. I know we were at another game at the same time. From what I heard, Ballysteen were coming back into it, but the Gales kicked on in the second half, and they really, battened down the hatches at the back, kicked the scores, and I think got a third goal in the second half to kill this one off. Big
I'd be
victory for them.
towards the Gales, as you know. I'd be friendly with an awful lot of them. And
Is that why you tipped them to lose?
I tipped them to lose, and I said if I get it wrong,
you'll be
Bob
getting
Childs will be on my house. He was on my house before 9:30 last Saturday evening. He had me contacted
straight away.
Yeah, so if you're watching, Bob, great win for the Gales.
Yeah.
Look, I thought to a certain degree last year they beat Ballylanders in the first round and didn't win again. I thought it wasn't fully reflective of what Galtee Gales were about.
Yeah.
I
Couple
thought
of
they
tight,
were better.
couple of
I
narrow
thought they
lapses,
were
isn't
better
it?
than that, and that they were sort of unlucky that they didn't get another win or two.
Yeah.
And they seem to have regrouped this year. If you look through the team, they appear, and Morris O'Sullivan has returned.
Yeah.
Huge
He
asset.
he was
If
out
he
with a
can stay
cruciate
fit.
going back, wasn't he, at one point, and he
Yeah,
a couple of
he's been
injuries
out
and
he's been in and out for a long time now, but he's back, and that's a huge, because they were trying to fill in at centre back, and like the two Childs brothers now who are after coming off a long spell with Limerick, and they're absolutely in fine form. Tom and Bob,
yeah.
Alan Condon, Padre McGrath, Zach McCarthy is in flying form.
Yeah. Heard he had a
And
fine outing here as well.
I don't know why we should be surprised about that, because to
For watching
me,
him long
at
enough, yeah.
underage level, it was an outstanding prospect.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
So I'd be slightly worried about Ballysteen. I'm just wondering, I wasn't there, I was at the Bally game at the same time. Was Danny Neville playing?
Yeah, I didn't hear much. I presume he was. Yeah. But it is a low scoring total for them, considering they had what had they scored the previous week? 3-7.
Celtic Gales led 2-4 to 5 points at half time. And they conceded a penalty shortly after half time, and Joey Rush scored it. You will remember, I was just wondering when I had Joey Rush scored it, was Danny Neville playing?
Oh yeah, I don't have confirmation now, Matt, so I would only be speculating,
And you'll remember also that I marked out Joey Rush as one for the future last week.
Yeah, well, he's one for the present now for Ballysteen,
Yeah,
isn't
well,
he?
they need him for the present,
Yeah.
But they didn't score again.
Mm.
And the Gales drove Bob. And our friend Bob got the third goal. Congratulations, Bob, if you're watching. He watches every week.
Just to rubber stamp it, Matt. You got it wrong. Yeah. But
so
two big wins now for them, that's
two big wins.
obviously.
They're one win away from being through.
Yeah. That's a nice little carrot for going back to training for the next few weeks, to say to lads.
It is.
Let's get another W beside our names, and we'll be there. The final game.
They may scrape in if you'd need a certain element to look to scrape in with 4 points.
Yeah, it's not something they'd be thinking about now. Anyway,
No.
3 games to go. Let's add to that. Yeah.
That'll be the last thing in their head.
Yeah, they still have games against the Father Casey's, Newcastle West, and Kildare and Pallaskenry to come. The last game, but most certainly not least, Father Casey's and Ula played in Clorina last Friday evening. 116 to 9 points, and by all accounts, a tighter game from what I heard than the scoreline may suggest.
Yeah,
it sounds like Father Casey's
what I had on it was that it was tighter.
Father Casey's drove for home maybe in the second half and
drove
left
for home
Ula
maybe in the
bit.
last 20 minutes. Ula very dependent on Josh Ryan possibly for scores.
Right.
So Ula in a bit of trouble now at this stage. No points. With Ballysteen, when they meet, that's going to be some big game.
Yeah. For sure.
That's going to be a huge game, as will Galtee Gales and Kildare Pallaskenry.
Oh yeah, these are the these games, because it not only the 2 points but the head-to-head rule as well.
Yeah, looking down the road now, these are the games that are, standout fixtures already. We can say that we have Newcastle West and Father Casey's to come. That has come and gone.
Yeah.
But I was just looking at it there now,
That's the next round, isn't it? Galtee Gales and Kildare Pallaskenry is in the next round, yeah. So
yeah,
that's a big one. And then round 4, round 4 game, Ula and Ballysteen is in round 4. Yeah.
One you're looking at a very big game between Monaleen and the Piercy City Derby, not to be missed.
Yeah. Actually, the next. I'm just looking at here. The next round is the Piercy and St. Kieran's and Monaleen.
Okay, but I'm saying when
further down the line,
and the Piercy will meet,
Yes, in round 4, yeah. And as it stands, of course, both on 0 points. So they will be within touching distance, whatever way it works out, come that meeting. So there'll be a lot more than just 2 points at stake, you feel. I suppose that's it, Matt, for the senior. Just to, I suppose, keep quick run through Group 2. Obviously, the table. Newcastle West and Galtee Gales both on 4 points. Newcastle West just 1 point ahead of them on scoring difference. Father Casey's next back with 1 win and 1 defeat. The same for Kildare and Pallaskenry, but their scoring difference has taken a bit of a blow following that poor scoring showing against Newcastle West. And Ballysteen and Ula propping up the table with Ula bottom with -13, and Ballysteen ahead of them with -11. But work to do for both of those sides come the middle of August in rounds 3 and indeed rounds 4, which are quickfire in August. Okay, just a quick look back at intermediate. Now, this intermediate grade has, I think,
Can I
Group
just
1.
bring you up to date,
Yeah.
Tom?
Can.
On the Group 2 in the intermediate, the full 2 rounds have been played. In Group 1, we have a situation whereby neither Newcastle West nor Castlemahon have played a game.
Yeah, the Newcastle West one was abandoned, obviously, due to injury.
Yeah,
but
that
they
was
haven't
abandoned.
completed the game. Yeah.
But tonight we have a game. If anybody, even at this later move, wants to head to Fines, St. Patrick's and Castlemahon will be in action there.
Yeah.
And Castlemahon didn't play because of Seamus Flanagan's involvement with the Limerick senior hurling team. And it's going to be a quick turnaround for Castlemahon because on Saturday night, they're going to be playing St. Sinans in Sean Finn Park at 7:30.
Right.
And in the meantime, there is a refixture for Newcastle West and Gerald Griffins.
Gerald Griffins, yeah.
That is on Friday night.
Yeah. That's it, yeah. So so far in that group, Group 1 has seen Drumcollar Broadford collect 2 victories from 2. They beat Gerald Griffins last Friday by a goal, and they beat St. Tenants comfortably 4-10 to 8 points in the opening round. There's the only games completed in that Group 1. In Group 2, we're fully up to date, as it were. Galbally 2 wins from 2, wins over Clahan, and most recently, second win over Glyn. Glyn is in the first round, and more recently, I should say, Clahan. Glyn bounced back from their first round defeat. They picked up a victory over Pallasgreen in a tight game, 1-10 to 10 points. Rathkeil, they got their first win of the campaign to add to a draw. They defeated Crocora 2-10 to 3 points, having drawn the first day out with Clahan. So early front runners in that, Galbally, but Rathkeil, Glyn, Pallasgreen, all within touching distance of them as they head for a bit of the break. And obviously many of those clubs.
Should note the victory for Glyn, which was their first in, I think they were on a run of 10 defeats.
Oh, were they? Yeah. They had only received walkovers really to keep them.
In McNeville Park.
Right. Well, there you go. Fair play to Glyn, yeah. And by all accounts, they struck late for that goal, I think, to get over Pallasgreen. They had been nip and tuck the whole way through. Pallasgreen edging it for most of it, but the men from Glyn, they struck for the win there in that one. So that's it on the football front, Matt. I think we've covered plenty there. Just to mention the Masters, the Limerick Masters side, of course, were in action last weekend. They were in Rebogue on Saturday and edged out 2-11 to 1-11, I believe, Matt. The score was in favour of the Connacht side. Yeah.
I have little detail on it. It was such a busy weekend.
Right. And, it certainly was, yeah.
My apologies to the Masters group, and it sort of got lost. I had a preview on it all right in the paper, but I got no details. We were tied up with the Limerick match and
all the club football.
All the football game that was on, but we're not forgetting the Masters. But it would look to me that they may be heading for the Spirit Cup again this year.
And what happens in that? Limerick win, well, hopefully.
Well, I'll tell you what happened in it. We won it last year.
So there you go. Well, they wouldn't say no to renewal with that.
We have won 2 games against Clare and Waterford. We've lost 3 to London, Cork and Mayo, and I think it's next up, Kerry.
Right. Well, the kingdom awaits. So for the lads, and best of luck going forward. I think that's it on the games front. Just to mention a couple of tournaments, Matt. I just mentioned Ballysteen were in touch, and they mentioned that they have their 7-a-side tournament, which is being held later in the month, Saturday, the 27th of July. I think all bar one spot was filled last I heard. So if any team out there wants to line out in that, details are there, and indeed on Ballysteen's Instagram and Facebook pages. Get involved. Sounds like a bit of fun tournament. There'll be I'm sure a couple of sociable drinks after all the football action, barbecue, music, you name it, it's there. I think plenty of Limerick teams across the grades, senior and intermediate, are involved. So room for one more, I think, at the end at this juncture. And Matthew had also to mention
I just encourage people for the Ballysteen one because it's a quiet time of the year and it fills in a space because as you can see, it's basically we're down now for the next couple of weeks to minor fixtures and the start of the county under County Junior C Hurling Championship.
Yeah.
Starting plus catching up a few back games like we're doing in the intermediate football. Yeah, I want to mention about a tournament that's being held in Brewery on Saturday evening. And it is the Jim O'Brien Memorial Tournament.
Yeah, that's this Saturday, Matt. Obviously, the 13th of July. 13th of July, this Saturday.
Saturday, the 13th of July.
Yeah.
And anybody that hasn't heard of Jim O'Brien, you would ask the question, where have you been? Jim O'Brien was absolutely a fantastic hurler with Brewery and with Limerick. He won a Munster minor hurling medal with Limerick in 1963. They subsequently went on to be beaten by Wexford in the high scoring minor hurling final in history, 6-12 to 5-9. Jim progressed very quickly to the Limerick senior team in 67 in the league, and his career lasted for 12 years at senior level, during which time he made 26 championship appearances for Limerick. And he made 74 league appearances for the county.
So by my maths, he played 100 times for Limerick in league and championship?
Yeah, he was a never-present. Jim was a never-present. He won a National League medal in 1971 when we beat Tipperary in Cork. He won 2 Munster medals in 1973 and again in 1974. And of course, he won the All-Ireland in 1973. And his performances in 1973, Tom, were such that year he was named an All-Star. Like, he was the first man from Brewery to win an All-Ireland senior medal and the first man from Brewery to win an All-Star. Yeah. But it's just not his contribution to Limerick. It's his contribution to Brewery. Absolutely phenomenal. He was on 2 losing county senior final teams in 78 and 82. But the contribution that he made as a hurler, and when his hurling career was over, his involvement in the club, if ever anybody should be dubbed a legend, it is Jim O'Brien. Now, the tournament is a 3-team tournament, which is going to be a runoff in a sort of a blitz. It's a round-robin type tournament involving Brewery, Croom, and Cappamore.
Right.
So it gets underway at 5 o'clock with a mag-side derby between Croom and Brewery. And then we have Cappamore. I think the 3 games, they're all spaced out. And the final is around... can you give me a second and I'll...
Yeah.
I wasn't able to remember it all, but...
no problem. Yeah, but 100...
While I'm finding it, Tom, I will say other things about it. The admission is free.
It's a good start for most people, yeah.
Yeah, but there will be boxes around the place giving people the options to make donations.
Okay.
The donations which will go to Milford Care Centre, which is very important.
Yeah.
Now, I have it here now. Brewery and Croom is at 5 o'clock. Brewery and Cappamore is at 5:45. Cappamore and Croom is at 6:30. And the Jim O'Brien Memorial Cup final is at 7:45 between the top 2 teams.
Right. Well,
now, there's going to be a barbecue there. There's going to be a shop there. So it's going to be a great sense of occasion. And it is remembering somebody, that is fond, an absolute gentleman, is remembering somebody that is fondly remembered in Brewery and all over County Limerick. He passed away in August 2020. Now, he had 5 sons who gave great service to Brewery, and he has, one of his sons is a well-known umpire around the county, David O'Brien. And there was Connor, John, James Vincent, and Gerard. all giving huge contributions on and off the field. So it's an occasion to remember somebody that's special, that's somebody that has a special place in the heart of Limerick hurling supporters. And I would exhort as many people as possible to come there. There's going to be a great sense of occasion.
Yeah, very well said, Matt. Well, best of luck to all involved, and hopefully a big turnout, and hopefully the weather will be shining down on Brewery this Saturday afternoon. As Matt said, Croom, Cappamore and Brewery lining out with that one. I'm sure those three teams who now operating at the intermediate grade will not spare themselves against each other. So enjoy that one, Matt. I think that's about it for this week. We've covered plenty there. I suppose we must again reiterate the best wishes to the ladies footballers, the under-16 footballers, and the under-16 camogie side as they fly the flag for Limerick this weekend. So best wishes to all involved. Thanks for tuning in. Don't be afraid to share the podcast, and a reminder that it's now available on Spotify if that indeed is where you like to listen.